In this video, we are going to have a look at everything you need to know for an amazing report in Cambridge C1 Advanced. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video. And you can also check out the full article in the description box below. In C1 Advanced Writing, only essays are mandatory. Reports, on the other hand, are a choice, and you could also decide to write an email or letter, a review or a proposal. Like in every other writing task in C1 Advanced, reports need to be between 220 and 260 words long. But now that we have all the general information out of the way, let's get into a little bit more detail. According to Cambridge English, a report in C1 Advanced is usually written for a superior, for example a manager or director, or for a peer group, that could be other students or members of a club that you are a member of as well. In a report, you always have to describe and evaluate a situation and usually suggest some course of action that you would recommend. There are three main areas of focus when it comes to report writing in the CAE exam. First of all, you need to present factual information. Obviously, these facts might be made up by you, but you need to present them as if they were factual. The second main area is making suggestions and recommendations. Every report has a suggestion or recommendation at the end of it, because that's the sole purpose of writing a report. And lastly, effective and efficient text organization is also a very important point when we write a report. That means you need to think about the right paragraph structure as well as different linking words and expressions that we can use to connect our ideas. Simply sitting down and starting to write your report won't get you very far. First of all, we always need to analyze the task and extract all the information we need so we can think about the paragraph structure and the content of our text. With a systematic approach and a few simple questions, you can analyze every task in the CAE exam quickly and efficiently, so you get to the writing stage much faster. The first thing we need to find out is the topic of the report. Knowing the topic can help you set the tone, as well as thinking about vocabulary and expressions that you might want to include in your text. Here you can see a typical task for a report in C1 Advanced. The topic in this task is your new job. Secondly, we need to go into a little bit more detail and we need to check what exactly it is that we need to include in our report. Here, we try to find the main topic points that we need to address in the task, because they will make the main portion of our text. Once again, let's jump to the same example task. And here you can see that there are three key topic points for us to write about. The first one is what you have achieved in your new job so far. You are also asked to describe some of the problems you've experienced. And last but not least, you have to suggest suitable training in the future. You will see that every report task includes 2 or 3 main topic points. So whenever you sit down to practice or in the actual exam, look out for that number of key pieces of information that you have to include in your text. The last thing we should think about in our task analysis is who's going to read our report. By finding out this kind of information, we can decide on the correct style and most appropriate register for our text. We normally get the choice between formal, neutral and informal language. But for reports, we never want to be too informal. One last time, let's look at our example task. And here we can see that we are writing to our manager. Because our manager is a superior and we need to write with a certain level of respect, we should choose a formal tone for this specific report. As soon as we've analyzed the task and extracted all the information that we need, we can now think about how to structure our text. Luckily, most reports work in the exact same way. We always want to start with an introduction in which we clearly state the purpose of our report, followed by the topic paragraphs in which we address the key topic points that we found in our task analysis. Finally, we want to end our report with a conclusion or recommendation where we suggest a specific course of action and summarize the information from the topic paragraphs. You might be thinking now, okay Phil, this all sounds great, but what exactly do I have to include in my introduction? And how can I write a good topic paragraph or conclusion? So now, in the next step, let's look at each individual part and let's see how we can put everything together to make a great report. Let's start with the title and introduction. We usually give a report a title, even though it doesn't have to be anything special. So please don't get stressed out about this. The more important thing here is your introduction. In your introduction, you want to state the purpose of your report as clearly as possible, and you want to prepare the reader for what is to come in the topic paragraphs. As you can see in this example, I chose a very neutral title for my report and I gave a subheading to the introduction. You will see this coming up again when we talk about the topic paragraphs as well as the conclusion, as subheadings are an organizational feature of reports. Your subheadings, just like the title of your report, really don't have to be anything special, but they should give the reader an idea of what to expect in the paragraph that follows that subheading. As you can see, my introduction begins by stating why I wrote the report, and I prepare the reader for the rest of the text. Once we are done with our introduction, we move on to the topic paragraphs. As mentioned earlier, your topic paragraphs are the main parts of your report. That means you should put most of the information there, and they are also the longest parts of your report. Here we address the main topic points that we've extracted from the task, and once again we want to give each paragraph a subheading and immediately make it clear at the beginning of each paragraph what the reader can expect. You also want to include some good vocabulary related to the topic, as well as formal language. But let's look at an example. Here you can see my 3 topic paragraphs, each of which deals with one of the main topic points from the task. We can see this immediately simply by looking at the subheadings and also by reading the beginnings of each paragraph. Everything that follows is supporting information, examples, reasons, and other information that can be useful for our report. I've also tried to include a lot of useful language that shows that our report is formal. Here you can see that I've avoided contractions and included a lot of formal expressions. The final part of a good report is a conclusion or recommendation. Here we want to make a suggestion and we try to persuade the reader to do what we suggest in our report. That means that once again we want to use a subheading And we want to use specific language to get our point across as well as possible. As you can see in this example, I've once again used a subheading, just as I did with all the other paragraphs in the report. Apart from that, you can also see a few examples of persuasive language that help change the reader's opinion in our favor. So there you go. I hope you find the example useful. As you can see, writing a report is not that difficult after all. Just keep in mind that you can always use the same structure as I've shown you in this video. And you always describe and evaluate a situation, and you make a recommendation at the end. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you've seen, you can also jump over to my website to read the full article. The link is in the description box below, just as some other useful links to my C1 Advanced Writing Cheat Sheet, as well as my other services and links to my social media. So once again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.